32.
Okay. How big have you made this map?
It's the back of Stockmeyer's notes.
Okay, so it's enormous and incredibly
Yeah.
well detailed. And did you map just like your livable half of the planet, or did you try to go for the whole deal?
I think we went for the whole deal. I think that's why we needed such an enormous map.
Okay, so the majority of the surface of the world you've seen is essentially unlivable wasteland. It's either just featureless rocky terrain that you assume sits at an elevation high above the mountains of Tetluteus. This would be the impenetrable wall of stone. Or it's just like incredibly huge, impossibly hot lakes of fire, oceans of fire covering the surface. Or it's just a vast and featureless wasteland of ice, depending on which direction.
The way we've done the map is there's a small unfolded sphere in the center that has two like little zoom outs. So on the right side there's a triangle, on the left side there's an inverted triangle. So most of the map is taken up with the interesting areas.
Okay. And yeah, you have... I mean, there have been maps of the ocean before, but mostly these are for trade routes. They're just shipping lines directly along the coast. So the shapes of the coasts in the north are relatively well known. But this might be the most beautiful piece of artwork that you've ever seen in your life. Which, the final question I have about the map is, are we going for like artistic license over function, or are we going for accuracy over anything else?
I'll leave that up to Gus. It's his idea.
For sure, accuracy. Why would I want an artistic map?
I mean, it's still a beautiful piece of art, either way.
That's what I was going to ask. It sounds really striking. Incredible.
It definitely would go for accuracy. Gus is kind of he's a function over form kind of guy.
So you're able to roll this enormous parchment back up into the telescoping scroll case, get the lid back on it.
Yep.
Hey, do you think this is worth 33,000 gold pieces? And Gus smiles broadly.
I think it is after we make a copy of it.
If anybody believes us, will be another matter entirely.
And the last thing Alex is going to do is he's constructing the entire bottom floor with the cage and the parachute, and he's going to have Gus go ahead and remember how you made it so the stonework would fall away right before you went through the door?
Yeah.
I want you to do that for the entire first floor.
What?
We're going to have a release that releases the entire first floor, and then we're going to fall out from under it, and the cage is going to fall out, and the parachute's going to open.
What happens if we fall topside down?
We'll just spin for a little. It'll be fine. Oh, it's gonna shrug. See, obviously, I hadn't thought of that.
Don't worry, it'll be fine. We're just hurtling towards
We got
Earth
this.
at impossible speeds with a parachute I made out of some boots and a cloak.
And some
I have
spare
the mending
cloth.
spell.
He has spare cloth too.
Brick, I have a question about the map.
Yeah.
And this may seem a little scattered, and I'm sorry, but from what I remember, the king had a cockamamie plot about a magnifying glass and tracing the book back to where it used to be and
Correct.
following the line back and all of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does the map we have just created help at all with that legend in any sort?
It does, in the sense that he knows roundabouts where this hidden continent is supposed to be. You haven't been able to see the hidden continent because there's always enormous storms in the air. You can't see through the weather.
Okay.
So I imagine on the map that they've made, there's just a loud cloud mass or something there.
Okay.
But
So we actually saw those storms while we were up here. Okay.
Right. So the benefit to King Ten Sails and his plan to trace this like magical spirit line back to the sighting of this landfall is that instead of having to commission multiple expeditions down into the dangerous Southern Ocean to look for these spirit lines, you'll be able to give him much more accurate coordinates. So instead of years finding this, it may only take months.
If we give him the map.
I think we can describe the part that he needs to know without giving him the map.
Or you can make copies of the map.
Yeah, and I think the first thing we should do when we get back is make a copy
Make
of this.
copies. Yeah. Okay.
Gus!
We have that giant space in the lobby where a picture of Fireblood used to hang.
Gus,
Yes.
I need you to make strength athletics checks at disadvantage before. Don't roll yet.
I got you.
You can make 2 per day. You need 4 successes. Your DC is going to be 16.
All right.
Do not roll a natural 1. Usually in D&D 5th edition, if you roll a 1 on a skill check, it's not an automatic failure. But the stakes are so high in this instance that you really do not want to roll a 1 on this check. You're at disadvantage because you have to go out blind and you only kind of know what needs to be done. But this procedure involves you going out on your spacewalk, spider climbing down to the rockets, using your strength to maneuver them in place, and then running some kind of diagnostic or some kind of check that Alex will tell you about that you're able to perform while blind in order to ensure that it's pointing the right angle. Good luck.
So DC 16.
DC 16 for each one.
Don't roll in that one.
Don't roll in that one.
So, McDohl, I think this is where we use our blips, right?
This is where we use our blips. Yes.
That is
Wow.
one
So
success.
we got the first one on the first half.
Am
of the
I
first
able
day.
to hang out and watch? Like, can I help?
I'm assuming if you're not watching, he has no chance.
Okay, yeah. So I can throw a +5 on one of these two.
Thank
That
you,
is a
copies.
second success.
All right, so the first day goes more or less without a hitch. You get out there, you reposition the first 2 of the rockets. They're pointing in the correct direction. And Alex, the reason that you're aiming, you can't hit a very precise target is this is just not something you can do with instruments. This is not something you can do with tools. This is blunt force trauma to the bottom of this rocket ship. And then one long rest later, you can go out and try again.
All right. We're gonna make these bigger because these are the danger D20s now.
The danger D20s.
All right. Hit. It's one success
Looking good.
and 2 successes.
All right, so on the second day,
Just made that.
Gus, you're in bad shape. You feel really sick when you come back inside on the second day. Again, eyes are all bloodshot. I mean, you're physically drained and exhausted. But each of the rockets is pointing in a direction that now, if you fire them using the countdown timer upstairs, it should put your ship in an orbit that will bring it down to the planet at the prescribed location on whatever timetable Alex has figured out ahead of time.
I'm gonna pass out now.
Yeah.
And
You've earned it.
Gus kind of.
So Alex,
We'll wake you up when it's time to make landfall.
Connor, you're in charge.
No.
Hell yeah.
And Alex is gonna say, after Gus wakes up, I want everyone to take one last day just to actually enjoy the wonder of this place, because I think it's pretty fascinating.
and you're
No work,
never
just
coming
relax.
back. So one day of relaxation at the end.
Yeah.
So we have.
Can
So
Connor relax? Is that physically possible?
That is not possible. I think
Well,
the closest you could
actually-
get, the closest you can get to Connor relaxing is him staring out the window, staring at the.
actually, I don't have to make Connor relax. Use your class feature.
I like the idea of Lucius showing Connor where all these like astronomical symbols
what?
are in the sky, patterned after fey creatures.
Yeah, let's do that.
That one's the fairy, and that one's the Medusa.
Yeah, let's use primeval awareness.
So what does that do?
I could spend a spell slot to sense any aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiend, undead that are present within 1 mile of me.
Well, that's going to require a DC 20 wisdom check, since it's a magical effect.
Oh, do I want to burn
+5?
It's like, do I want to burn blips on this? Do I want to burn 4 blips on this?
Take the +5 to start.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not danger die worthy.
Nope.
No.
How many spell slots do you got?
I have a lot. I got them all back. All right, let's try again.
Got another +5 for you.
There we go.
There are no fae. What's the list?
Aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead.
There are no any of those things within a mile of you.
And we decided that I can't actually have space as a favored terrain, right?
You cannot.
Okay. Because then it's 6 miles.
Alright, it's pretty easy to surmise. Well, here's the thing. You're moving at an incredible speed in orbit around the world, so for the duration, you're checking the 1 mile radius, but it's actually good for the entire, like, circumference of the planet.
So I like to think he did that, and now he can, for the first time in his life, relax.
I feel the book doesn't specify this, but I feel like it's reasonable to state that a ranger can't pick favored terrain that they can't survive in unaided.
I
also can't pick space, so.
My favorite thing about Connor and like the way you built him is you picked really good feats from Tasha's, but you didn't pick any of the good replacement ranger class features.
Oh no, why would I do that?
Because I'm sitting there reading Tasha's the other day, and I'm like, wait a minute, he could have all of these crappy. He could have replaced them, and he didn't. I respect that.
All right, so let's just before we go, looking at bookkeeping, who has the bead of fireballs?
Well, there's only one bead left.
Yep. So who's got it? Alex doesn't need it.
Lucius has it.
I think Lucius should hold on to it. Yeah.
The question is Alex going to continue wearing the codpiece once he gets home?
I mean, it was just dampened magic. It's not like just space. And also, I can attune to an extra magical item.
Oh, you're just going to wear Stockmeyer's stinky legacy for the rest of your life. I love it. So, the plan, as I understand it, is you're going to set the countdown timer. You're going to go downstairs, secure yourself in this bottom floor, yes?
Where I built a large metal cage with chairs.
Okay. So, you're going to rely on the arrow shell on the tower to protect you from re-entry. And we'll hope that is. Once you get beyond that point and you start getting close to the crash, you're going to release the top of the tower. So you're
bottom of the tower.
So you're just dumped out into the atmosphere. The tower is going to crash below you, and the hope is the parachute will open behind you and slow your descent enough that you're not caught in the fiery explosion.
Yep.
All right.
So there are a bunch of load-bearing struts left. That's holding the bottom of the tower, and Alex is just going to shoot those out with his gun.
So Alex,
I need Connor can do it with his magic bow too. We can each get 2 of them.
Cool.
I picture that dude who went up in a lawn chair and weather balloons with a BB gun.
Yep, exactly.
He died.
Not from that though.
Thank you.
He died eventually.
We all die eventually.
What does Alex surmise the chance of success is?
Oh, we got this. We're fine. This is a great plan. Remember what Alex's flaw is.
I know. I hate it every
Lucius,
day.
the good news is the 2 women are at peace with this plan that probably won't work.
That's fine.
So is Connor.
So
you have never seen Connor
not,
more relaxed.
hopefully there's a shooting star over Dunboss. Maybe somebody will think of us.
How many feet do you fall in a round? There's an actual number.
60.
You fall 60 feet
No,
around.
it's more than 60.
That's under.
I thought it was
under
60. I
Featherfall.
thought it was. Oh, it's 60 for Featherfall. Yeah.
It's like
That's
600
600.
feet around, isn't it?
We did
Yeah.
we did this math once because you guys had a combat on the plane of air where you could only
Yeah.
move by falling and changing your direction. It's like 500 feet or something silly.
Well, it's like 500 in the first round and 1,000 on the second, and then you're at terminal velocity.
Something like that. Yeah, it's insane. All right, so we're gonna do it this way. Let's go ahead and bring out. The good news is, Connor, like your awareness, you can turn it back on, and you'll be when you're within a mile of the planet, you'll still be mid crash. So that'll be exciting.
The one last thing, Brick, is after killing Stockmeyer and looting his stuff, Alex has done his best to wrap the body up without using any cloth and cast him out the door.
You just set him on his way.
Yeah.
Okay. That seems respectful.
Yeah, exactly. That's
That's
actually what I
fair.
was thinking. Like, this seems like the way this guy would want to go. So yeah, but before the blood can fill up the entire tower.
This seems like the way he would want to go with a bullet
Yep.
through his brain pan. Okay.
I'd have wrapped him in
Reminded
cloth,
of
but we
that.
kind of need all of it.
I'm reminded of that scene in the first Alien movie where the guy just gets yeeted out the airlock.
So you're all secured in this cage, except for Alex and Connor, who are going to be needed to detach the tower. Have I got that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've kind of made big holes then in between the first and second floor of the tower. You've released a lot of the stones, and you've left 4 in place that you're going to destroy.
Yep.
Okay. Making sure I understood all that correctly. Yeah, let's roll initiative.
Initiative.
Yeah. Let's make sure you guys can...
We fighting the planet.
Kind of.
It's very hard to miss.
How many hit points does the planet have?
Who's this Florian guy?
Maybe we shouldn't determine how many hit points the planet has, because then Gus will like get his hammer and start hitting the ground. Like, let me know when it's dead. How much XP do I get? All right, are we situated on initiative here? I'm going to move you guys on initiative count 20. You need to wait till after like the re-entry phase, when you're already in the atmosphere, closing in on the planet, to detach the tower. So here's the thing. From that point until impact, Alex, how many rounds are you going to give yourself to completely detach the tower? A larger number means you're higher up, and a lower number means you're lower to the planet when you start, which means missing is potentially fatal. If you're
I'm
too
going to
high.
give us 4 rounds.
4 rounds total? Okay.
Yep. And Lucius, if you want to help chuck in some Eldritch Blasts here, feel free.
Would help.
Firebolt.
Can I use Eldritch Blast on it? Because I think I have to hit a creature with it. Yeah, the spell says I have to target a creature.
And
Do you have
tower's
other
not a
cantrips?
creature.
So what now?
You have other cantrips, don't you?
He's a warlock, of course he doesn't.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Non-cantrips.
I think everything else that I have. Yeah, it's a creature. Thornwhip is a creature.
Do you want a bunch of vials of acid to throw?
Give him your freaking crossbow.
Sure.
Now, if you're doing this, this means Lucius is not going to be completely secured to the chair. If his arms are capable of firing a crossbow, he's not tied down like everybody else. Is that the intent?
Actually, Lucius, I think you should just stay strapped down. I can shoot with firebolt. I can shoot objects with firebolt. We'll see how that helps. Maybe I can get one.
Okay. Thank you.
So we got 3 people firing. We got 4 rounds to do it.
Yep.
Round number 1. Lucius, you were tied up, which means you're restrained.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Alex.
Yep. Alex takes aim and hits an armor class of 13.
That'll hit.
Go ahead and add a Arcane Jolt on this hit. So there we go. 15 plus 21 magical piercing plus 4 force.
So you've knocked out one of the stones.
Got a second shot.
Okay.
It's an armor class of 12.
Armor class of 12 will hit.
For 11 magical piercing.
That's the second stone. Moving or staying put?
I'm going to assume that my allies are doing their job, and I'm going to strap in.
All right. That's going to bring us, I guess,
Scrappy
Florian
dodges.
is next. He's still on this map for whatever reason. There he is. We found him. He was in space the whole time.
Space Florian.
That seems on brand for Florian. Yeah.
Florian is like in the afterlife going, they went to space without me.
Good news is I actually can't roll less than a 13, so
You can if you roll a 1.
that is a 22.
That'll hit.
I could feel McDohl's soul die when you said that for a second.
On to hit roll, a 1's always a miss. That's just how it goes.
For 13 damage.
And the third stone is knocked out.
That is a 30 to hit.
That'll hit.
For 10 damage.
And the sound and shaking are terrible as you're coming down through the atmosphere. And the sound of the tower coming apart above you as you release these last stones. And it starts whipping around. And it starts spinning violently from the torque of it. And it sends you all into a violent spin as well.
Yep.
Do we need to do anything special to open the parachute, or have you rigged it so it's going to...
It's just going to open as soon as we're clear of the tower.
Let's get 3 Constitution saving throws from everybody. DC is 16.
Just to see if we lose our lunch.
I'll see if you pass out.
1,
Oh, both of the women are passed out.
2 failures. I got the first one failed. The last
Alex
two.
failed 2. Does Scrappy need to make these?
I'm going to say not if he's immune to exhaustion.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Alex failed 2 and passed 1.
Oh, I gotta do it 3 times.
You got to do it 3 times.
Oh, that's a pass. All right. Wow. That's 2 passes and a fail.
Well,
I
Gus,
all passed everything.
Gus, you're the only one who remains conscious through the whole re-entry. There is a sudden jerk. I'm going to apply 11 points of bludgeoning damage to everybody when the parachute opens and the ropes hold, but the sudden jerk of it, it feels like something's whipping you back up into the sky for a moment. As you guys are already being rattled coming down. And one by one, just the speed of it and the spinning, which evens out after a moment as the parachute slows your descent. The just intense cold and lack of air being so high up. One by one, you all black out. Gus, you're the only one who manages to see a reverse of what Connor saw previously, except it takes a lot longer because you're floating slowly down in a parachute, coming down over the forest. I mean, you watch spectacularly as the tower, which has no such parachute, spins past you, and for a moment you're like, what if that thing had just collided with us after the parachute opened? And you look over at Alexander, and his head's just lolled to the side, and there's just a trail of drool coming out of the side of his head. But you see the impact so far below you that you can't even hear it. You realize that you're kind of falling down through fairly heavy winds, kind of whipping you back and forth. But these, of course, have no effect at all on the stone tower, and it just crashes into the trees below and kicks up an enormous cloud of dust and smoke. And minutes pass as you're drifting slowly down, and one by one your companions start to wake up again. And you guys are all battered and bruised and bloodied, but as long as the parachute holds, it doesn't look like you're going to be in extreme danger. You can see where Dunfoss is beneath you, far to the south.
I could see my house from here.
And you get low enough to where you can also see just the devastation of the war, the hard-fought miles where Silverwolf and her army push back up to the mountain homes. You can see the encampments far to the south, still outside the mountain homes, where they're having this standoff. And you're coming down far, far to the north of all of that, down into the woods. And Connor, it's not long before you are within a mile of Fey and Celestial and undead creatures. Probably no aberrations, though. Unless Alex counts.
Hey.
And eventually this cage does come down in the forest. You've drifted somewhat. Alex, why don't you go ahead and roll me a d8. Let's see which direction you've drifted away.
7.
So you've drifted south, away from the wreckage of the tower. You get a good look at it as you're coming down, and there's just devastation. Nothing left of it. Just people won't even recognize this as a ruin in the generations to come. And eventually you continue to drift, and the wreckage disappears down beneath the tree line. And then there's loud cracks and snapping as the bottom of this metal cage starts ripping through branches and leaves. And you still have a decent amount of speed coming in.
Are the women still alive from the initial shock?
They are. They're
Okay.
battered.
Can I get them with cure wounds on the way down? Can I reach over and apply some alchemical healing fluids?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, so they're both back at full hit points before this happens.
Okay, I'm just going to apply 11 more points of damage from
yeah.
the actual crash.
Yeah.
As
Alex is going to try and make sure that they don't die, basically.
Which is the only thing they want. And then it comes... You're aware that you're no longer moving. Everybody aches, and you're covered in cuts and bruises as you're strapped in. And then the parachute, half draped down over the parts of your metal cage that haven't twisted and broken from the crash, and half caught in the canopy above your heads, impaled on treetops.
We're fucking
So are
alive.
we hanging above the trees?
No, you're down on the ground.
Okay, excellent.
Your parachute is kind of ripped and torn, and part of it is still up in the branches.
We're alive, right?
Yeah, I think if I was dead, that wouldn't have hurt so much, right?
True words.
Connor, we're in the forest now. You got to get us out.
This is why we hired you, right?
Is it? This is why you hired me?
Yeah. Yeah, I believe it.
For this exact contingency, falling from the night sky into a forest full of undead creatures.
And it's the middle of a very beautiful day.
Well, the good news
Anyone
is...
want coffee?
Yes.
And Alex will pull out his stuff and start actually cooking up a real meal.
Okay.
Gus flips you off.
Good news is forest is in fact my favorite terrain.
Feel
So
like
Connor,
that's the worst idea you've ever had.
from your position where you've come down in the forest, you figure it's going to be, because you drifted considerably further south than Alex's chosen target.
Right.
You figure it's going to be about 2 days before you reach the borders of the foothills of Maximilian, or of the Silverwolf mountain homes. Approaching these areas from the north, possibly very dangerous because you don't personally know the status of the undead in the area. Reports have that they've pushed the undead back into the actual mountain itself, but they're also not looking or scouting for attacks from the north. And you would know that the mountain homes have exits all through the hills. So you have a couple of options. Is you could either come straight south towards the mountain home, towards the camp, and travel through the forest and then through these hills, or you could divert either direction. If you were to divert to the east, you could come out nearer to the road. If you divert to the west, you could come out nearer to the coast.
Well, I think we want to go towards the road, don't we?
I mean, you're the ranger.
This is your wheelhouse. I got us down. And you get us home.
You said coming this way through the foothills from the south, going south is a bad idea, right?
You're not sure.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Reports from the war effort have that the undead have been pushed into the actual hills, like into the mountain home itself. But having lived in these woods, you would know that a dwarven mountain home like this would have exits all through the hills, out into the forest. So the woods to your south might be teeming with undead.
I mean, like, here's the it's your call, Connor, because this is kind of just like your situation. But this, I mean, we need to get back home pretty quickly. We kind of left in a hurry, and well, let's just say that the last time we were gone for an extended period of time, a psychotic Githzerai took residence in our boat and
right
off all of our business.
Yep. Well, also,
see, it gets right.
Dad. So, and if they've been pushing the mountain, but there's exits everywhere, so they could just all be in the forest anyway.
Also, I'd like to check on Kevin.
It's basically what it is, and what our decision's going to be is that we can go directly south and probably encounter Dad, or we can go
also
around.
Probably encounter the Dunfossen army.
Yep.
Well, the Dunfossen army would be... Well, not the Dunfossen army anymore, but Silverwolf's army is known to be kind of stationed up in the base of the hills down here.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you're looking for Kevin, that's where you would have to go anyway.
Right.
Let's go through the... Go ahead, Treble.
I was going to say, go ahead first, and then I have a thought for after.
Oh, I was going to say we should go through the foothills and meet the Dunfossen army.
Okay. That's fine with me, except it's not the Dunfossen army, it's the Silverwolf army, and they don't like us.
They don't like us?
Well, we're not undead, so they don't like us.
I seem to recall one of you calling the leader of their army the Traitor Queen in, like, giant letters in the sky.
Yeah, but they can't trace that back to me. Let's check the handwriting.
What would it be? I guess it would be your handwriting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely Alex's handwriting.
Connor would have been around for that. You're right.
You were standing right next to me.
Yeah. Yeah, because Connor helped make him king.
So now that I know it's Alex's handwriting, I'm like, there's people in Dunfoss looking up like, what is a turtle cream?
All right, let's go around then. I don't want to deal with
east or west. You're gonna come out to the road or come out to the shore.
To the road.
Have to pass the army anyway, like to get back on, because I'm assuming they're camped out on the road.
If you follow the road back to Dunfoss, yes, you would have to go through their encampment.
So I'm just like, I'm not saying that we can to avoid the army. I'm just saying we need to be careful that certain members of the army probably don't like us.
So you can figure that the army itself would be holed up in this area here, in the base of the hills before you go up into the mountains themselves. There is like a mining village, which had a fairly sizable inn owned and operated by Silverwolf interests. And then you can imagine the greater area around it would be where the devastation of war is. This is where the war was fought, where they pushed the hordes back to the north.
Like, so Gus really does want to check on Kevin.
Okay. All right. Then yeah, we'll go through go straight south.
Straight south?
Yeah, through the Dwarven... I keep forgetting what it is. Sorry. thing in the
Foothills?
Silverwolf's mountain
Foothills.
homes are in the foothills.
Yeah.
Here. So since we're going to travel through the forest next session, I'm just going to adapt the first edition Adventure of the Forest Oracle.
You keep threatening
Play through.
us with that. And you keep threatening that, and you keep not doing it, and you're a coward. You're a filthy coward. You are a...
Well, I would only ever want to run it as a one-shot in between campaigns, and this next, upcoming break, I've already committed to running My Little Pony. So I can't do that and Forest Oracle. That wouldn't make any sense.
My Little Pony Origins.
My Little Pony Revolutions. My Little Pony the Twin Snakes.
My Little Pony Gaiden.
I just
Little Pony Solid.
I just received a text message from my wife. She's on her way home, so we're going to wrap it up there. When we come back next week, we will have you guys traveling back to Dunfoss and learning all kinds of wacky things. I'm going to go dark for 2 minutes while I count up some experience, and you guys can think about your blips.
It was the most creative today.
Alexander.
Alexander for astrophysics.
Yeah.
Putting all
Got
that
a whole
Kerbal
new-
space program into use in Dungeons and Dragons. Who knew?
I'm just sad the gun idea didn't work.
Who furthered the party's goals the most today?
Lucius.
Yeah. We're getting all the intel on the cultists.
Also, you banished that freaking guy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
did
I
kind
think-
of shut that. I did kind of shut that down. Yeah.
Yeah, you made that easy. So, badass.
Gus for moving those engines. Those are really good
Yeah.
rolls.
Out in space.
Gustavus for spacewalking.
And party goals. Not party goals, intangible. No, okay, listen. I want to give Connor intangibles for using that class feature.
Yes. For finding the one place he's ever been that wouldn't trigger.
Like now his entire life purpose is just going to be to go back up
Back
there.
into
Get back to
space.
space.
There are no fake creatures in Ba Sing Se. Your guys' idea.
I know, but it was amazing. You were like, yes, wait. Oh, it failed. Wait, how many spell slots do I have? I have a lot.
Yeah, that was kind of a hoot and a half. Yeah.
I think when I get done with this, I'm going to play more EverQuest.
Wait, what were you playing? Oh, you're playing a shaman.
Did you all remember to call your mother today, by the way?
I saw my mother yesterday.
Well, yesterday wasn't Mother's Day.
Right, but I told her that I was like what she was getting for Mother's Day was far away love.
Everybody has seen what I got my mom for Mother's Day, right?
Yes. I was like, did you put it on Twitter? And I was like, oh wait, no.
I haven't yet, but I'm going to tonight. So what I did is my mom, she likes talking about my work with me, but she doesn't actually watch my videos because she always says, I don't understand video games. I wouldn't know what I'm talking about. So I started recording a playthrough of Chrono Trigger where I explain every inch of the game. It's Chrono Trigger for moms.
Excellent. I might actually have to go take a look at that. That sounds like
So
fun.
in the first hour-long video, I get to the cathedral
Oh jeez.
at the beginning of Chrono Trigger.
Like 10 minutes by most of my recent playthroughs.
I figure I usually get there in 5-6 minutes, typically. So, all right, who wants some experience points?
Sure.
Oh, let me delete last week's blips first. Combat experience for bringing down Stontmeyer. He's worth... There's 4 of you, not 5. 450 experience each. He was a CR5 villain, but he was considerably less than that because he had already used most of his spells.
We did bleed him down a little bit earlier.
In terms of him using up his magic item, you did, but I mean, he got all the hit points and stuff back. But he just didn't have that many hit points.
He was a wizard.
I am awarding everybody 1 blip for their part in putting together the plan for getting the craft home, and I'm awarding everybody 1 blip for safely getting as many of the cultists as you could out.
If only I had a third arm.
And who wants to make their case for blips this week?
I can go.
Alex, I heard you first.
All right, I got page. Oh God, I closed it. Hold on 1 second. Let the other guy go.
The other guy, go.
I closed my doc.
All right, neutral good. I must be a benefactor and try to leave things in a better state than I found it. For the argument that, hey, listen, if we're gonna die, let's aim at the undead infested area. Maybe we kill some undead.
Maybe you did. Who knows? Maybe there was a Fey princess sunning herself on a rock, and the tower just crashed into her.
Well, we already pissed off a dragon. Who knows? Ideals, my companions are my support structure, and I must do what I can to protect them from themselves. For just knowing that it was going to come down to, like, I couldn't send anybody else out there to the into the cold vacuum of space, and just and doing it and taking care of that. And then, of course, the video. No alcohol in space, unfortunately.
No alcohol in space.
Well, actually, there was alcohol in space.
You didn't drink any this session.
No, I didn't. I forgot there was alcohol in space.
Alex, did you revive your tab?
Yep.
All right.
Ideal, the dead deserve dignity for dealing with Stockmeyer's body. And Flaw, I'm sure we can handle this for basically the entire session.
The whole session.
I can't imagine why you would even intend to make a claim for that blip.
An artificer's wet dream.
Destil's real good at making us think he knows what he's doing.
Who wants to go next?
Connor will go.
Connor.
He's only got the 1. I must warn everyone of the very real dangers of Fey and fiends, and Fey and undead, and Fey and other monsters. For burning through his spell points to confirm that, yes, it is space is a very peaceful and blissful void.
So you agree with Stontmeyer? Like
Sure. There are no Fey creatures in Ba Sing Se.
Connor's like, I know where I'm gonna go when I retire now.
Yeah. You won't let me take space as favorite terrain, so.
Lucius, what do you got for me?
I have my alignment, lawful neutral, taking place in society where well for your fellow people, take care of your own, for his efforts in talking the 2 survivors down from cult suicide.
Okay.
Knowledge is paramount for just this whole deal of chasing after these books into space.
I mean, that's pretty much the literal definition of knowledge is paramount.
And double or nothing for being the only guy in the room with Stonkmeyer, or not the only guy, but you know, separated from his allies for a good long while without arousing suspicion.
And we award 1 blip for the most creative solution to a problem this session.
Alexander.
Alex, for everything. I'm just gesturing at the whole adventure.
For all of it.
For all of the everything.
Who furthered the party's goals the most?
Lucius. He could get it on merits of just the infiltration mission, but like he shut down Stonkmeyer. Stonkmeyer didn't get to do nothing with that because of that banishment.
Okay. Who's the
And you got-
badass?
There was Gus for the spacewalks.
Those were some good spacewalks.
So for the record, the difficulty of doing that with Scrappy is Scrappy wouldn't have been able to check afterwards to make sure it had been done properly. Scrappy could physically move the objects, but he didn't have the intelligence required to follow instructions of, like, then hold a protractor up and make sure the angle looks right kind of stuff.
Right.
And we give one for intangibles.
Connor for his moment of peace in outer space.
And Lucius has our poll for the week. I'm going to start with Lucius because you're the only one who used blips. You're at 4 and you've earned 7.
Wow. Yeah, so I don't think I'm anywhere near a level though. No.
Well, you can take 2, but you just have to roll over 5 regardless.
How much are air blips worth?
700.
Blips are worth 700 each.
All right, so I have to take 3,500. Am I mathing right?
I'm not the math guy. Alex is the math guy.
Yeah, no, I don't have enough to push me to a level, so I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it as is.
Coming
leave it
in
as
next week
6.
with 6. All right, and you can spend
Yeah.
5, cash in 5. Everybody else already has 5 blips, so you're cashing in everything. Alex, you're cashing in 5. Connor, you're cashing
I might be cashing in all of mine because I was very close to leveling last time. Give me a minute. I'll let you know at the end.
Connor, you've got 4 you can cash in, and Gus you have 6 you can cash in.
Okay. 6.
And just let me know if you want to come in next week with 6, or if you're cashing some in to try to hit the next level.
I am coming in with 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm also coming with 6. If I had one more blip, I could level, but I don't. So
that was an adventure.
Yeah, I cash in. I go to 4, and I can go to level 11.
So you're coming in next week with 4.
Yep.
Okay. So that was an adventure out of Candlekeep Mysteries, which is their newest adventure book that's come out just a couple months ago, called Candlekeep Deconstruction.
I am looking in the book right now at this stupid adventure because I have to know, do they have like after they resort to cannibalism? What?
They resort to what?
So the adventure actually doesn't have the adventure names him Stonky. I thought that was dumb, so I named him Stonkmeyer.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
Stonkmeyer
better.
is way better. Thank you.
But he didn't have nearly as many just magical protections on the. In fact, I don't think he had any at all. Like, I don't know what they were like. What if somebody just opens the front door once you're in space? Then what happens? None of that is addressed in the adventure. But yeah, his plan actually was just to go up there and read all the books.
Sure, why not?
I believe it.
I don't know why he named all his cultists after, like, barnyard animals, but... And the whole book has adventures like this. They're all silly like that. We are... like a week out from getting the Ravenloft book that's coming out, which I'm excited for.
Oh, Van Richten's Guide.
Yeah. This will be like the 9th Van Richten's guide I own, because I own all the 2nd edition Van Richten's guides.
Could you, like, if I've only heard rumors about what's in this book, but if I'm right, then this would be like the perfect opportunity to start squirreling in some of that stuff. Considering where we are and where we've landed.
All right, so that's going to do it for this week. I have to wrap it up pretty quickly because my wife's going to be home, and then it's her birthday, and we're doing birthday stuff.
Enjoy your Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I'll see you guys next week.
So it's 3, right?